Good morning! So we're gonna make our bread today. This is the morning of day 6 and my yeast is definitely ready. Bring that a little closer. You really, I don't know if you can see some of the bubbles in there. It's bubbling and it's frothing and it smells like bread. So I'm going to start by stirring it all around. It's so sad that we couldn't make bread yesterday, but anyway, that happens. Okay, so you want about 200 grams. So I had this on my scale. I know I told you guys you didn't have to have a scale, and you certainly don't. This is about a cup of the yeast starter. Okay. Put that in. All right, good. Got 200 grams. Then we're going to put in about 500 grams of water. I've got 2 cups in here, so we'll see how much water that translates to in the cup conversion. So in here. And it looks like going to be pretty close there. I need just a tad more. So that was 2 cups. And again, this is warm water, so I'm just getting a little more tap water. Okay, good. So I would say that's about 2 1/4 cups of your warm water. And we're going to stir that up. Stir, stir, stir. Okay. Simple enough. Next, we have our flour. I'm using the all-purpose flour for this. Would much rather use bread flour, but this works fine. So we're going to use this today. I'm going to start with about 4 cups. Now, converting into grams, I use about 750. So we'll see what that's going to take us to here. I don't think this is going to be quite enough. Nope, it's not. So this was 4 cups. What do we have here? We've got another cup. Let's see what that does. Okay. That's good. It was a little too much. So it's looking like it's going to be around 4 1/2 cups. Something like that. Okay. Yeah. We took out about a 1/2 cup there. So 4 1/2 cups of flour. And really the water, or the wet to the dry, is going to depend on what climate you're in. I live in a very humid climate, so I typically put in a little less water and a little more flour. So now, easy part, we're going to stir it. Stir it up. See what we got here. I'm just gonna work the flour in to the yeast and the water. Since I've been doing these cooking videos, I always feel like I need to do some kind of accent while I'm cooking. Well, actually, not even just for the videos, just when I'm cooking at home. I don't think that's just me. Any of you feel that way too? You need to have some type of cooking voice while you're making whatever it is that you're making. Oh, cooking should be fun. I love cooking. I love making anything, really. Just enjoy making stuff. Making something out of nothing, right? Okay. And this should make kind of a shaggy dough mixture, so you don't want it to be too dry, but not too wet. I'll show you as we go. Still mixing it up here. Ah, I forgot to turn on the music. It's so quiet. Still mixing. Almost there. We just want to work it into a uniform consistency. Some people use their hands. I suppose I could use my hands, but I like my little spatula. But if you want to use your hands, by all means. This is your bread. And you will have the capacity to make bread anytime you like. Not bothering with the with that yeast in the store. There are many different studies out there that talk about how some of us that have that think we may have a gluten sensitivity, which I'm certainly not downplaying that at all, but that it's actually the fast rising yeast that's causing the problem, because our body needs the fermentation process of the wild yeast to, for lack of a better word, pre-digest the grains, so that when it gets into our gut, we're able to take the nutrients from it and we don't have any issues. So probably should make a video on that as well. Think about that, because I've had some questions about sourdough and gluten intolerance, and anyway, that is a topic for another day. This is what we have, guys. You can see it's just a nice shaggy dough here. Okay, it's got form to it. Now what? Now we cover. And we're going to put our bread somewhere that is not going to be disturbed. You can put it in your oven. Just make sure you don't use your oven. Not saying I've ever done that. I have done that. Not good. Not good. But you could put it in your oven, like, because the temperature is consistent in there and nobody's going to bother it. You could tuck it away in a corner, again, where the temperature is consistent. No one's going to bump it because this is the first rise. So we're going to leave it alone for 4 hours. It is, it's just now 8 o'clock here. So at noon, I will check on it and I'll come back on here and we'll move on to the next step. So, oh, and I almost forgot. We need to go ahead and feed our yeast again. Can't keep these guys starving. So you just want to continue the process that we've been doing for the past 5 days. So we want, you can see about how much I have in there. My advice is that you go ahead and put in more of the warm water and more of the whole wheat flour to double this so that you have more yeast to make some more bread, and tomorrow or the next day. When I first started making bread, it took me a little while. It also took my yeast a little while to become really strong. So you may want to make bread tomorrow or the next day, just until you get your bread the way you like it. So feed your yeast and go ahead and leave it out. Put it in the corner just like we've been doing. And we'll see how your bread turns out today. Also, you can freeze your bread. So something to consider as well. You can go wild with the bread making and pop it in the freezer and have fresh bread. It keeps, I think the longest I've kept a bread in my freezer has been about 5 weeks. But I'm sure you could keep it for longer. So I'm going to end the video now. We're at 12 and a half minutes. I will see you guys in 4 hours. And I'll talk to you then.